And now for our feature presentation.
We all need some love, yeah. Oh, show some love and get love in return, yeah. Everyone needs to feel love every day. It makes you feel like you are wanted, alright, yeah. And everyone needs help sometime or day as we go along the way. Oh yeah, we all need each other. Yeah, in this great circle of life, the best way to survive, we all should give a little love and it will come back to you. Show a little love and it will come around. Oh wow, yeah, yeah. Give a little love and it will come back to you. Show a little love and it will come around. Yeah. I believe that the time has come. We all should count our blessings one by one. Oh yeah. And look to see if we've achieved them on our own or by the intervention of someone. Oh, before it's too late. Yeah, just let us show some love. We don't have time to wait. No, give a little love and it will come back to you. Yeah, show a little love and it will come around. Oh Lord, yeah, yeah. Give a little love and it will come back to you. Show a little love every day. For the path of the just is a shining light, I say, that shineth more unto a perfect day. But the way of the wicked is darkness. They know not what they stumble, and they seek after the flesh. Yeah. Give a little love and it will come back to you. Oh, show a little love and it will come around. Can't you hear me say? Give a little love and it will come back to you. Show a little love, show a little love, hey, hey, hey. Give a little love and it will come back to you. Oh, show a little love and it will come around. Can't you hear me say? Give a little love and it will come back to you. Show a little love and it will come around. Oh, well, give a little love and it will come back to you. Show a little love and it will come around. Yeah, can't you hear me say? Give a little love and it will come back to you. Oh, well, show a little love. Yeah.
Anyone who does not love his brother, whom he has seen, cannot love God, whom he has not seen. And he has given us this command: whosoever love God must also love his brother. Sin? Yeah.
That's right, that's right. We love one another. And today we are going to love on our guests coming on in for an interview with us right here. Motivational speaker, minister, chaplain, life coach, entrepreneur, youth cheerleader of the millennials. Let's put our hands together and welcome the one and only Minister Seon Gregory Gomes Rodney.
Thank you very much for affording me the opportunity. And from the onset, would like the audience to know that when I came up with the conversation and the board thing in the initial stage, you were one of the first person that came on the platform. I'm glad to be at this juncture that I am here with you again tonight.
Man, I'm telling you, you're touching lives. You're reaching all parts of this globe. and people are being transformed, and God's kingdom is being built based on uh, your program and your teaching. So bless God for your life. But before the conversation, Minister Rodney, who was Sion Gregory Groves, Rodney?
Well, before the conversation, see, Gregory Gomes Rodney was basically, I wear many hats that wasn't in the mega nature in terms of being spotlighted by the world. I Guyana, mind you, place of birth and upbringing. I migrated to the States in the latter years, which I migrated. I was 5 years old. But the answer to your question is that I get saved at 17, 16 rather, 17 I became a youth leader, and then I become the sectional rep of running the entire section. Then I become an outstation leader to bear. I was running 3 outstation for the Assemblies of God. I was attached to Lancaster Revival Temple, Assemblies of God under the auspices and leadership of Reverend Dennis Ram and Paul Ram, who afforded me the opportunity to lead the entire district of Region 6 as a youth director, and also at the same time the youth leader of my local church and being the outstation leader for 3 churches. And I was also on the board of Revival Temple Assemblies of God.
Nice. Sounds like some roots there that was planted real deep and far from the United States of America. Sometimes we see the glory, but we don't always know the story. So take us back to that time when your story was beginning, when God was molding you to be this public speaker, this motivator, this
Well,
conversation CEO.
on the onset is that sometimes we need to understand that before we recognize what lies within her, it was imputed within us from God. And I remember I always have an inquisitive knowledge and inquisitive mind and investigative part of my life to always want to know the whys, the how, and so forth. And I grew up in the Presbyterian church, and we were taught to do poems and recite poems and so on. Those are the days when you were a young guy, you recite, you give a salute and so on. And I came there, and then I end up into the Pentecostal circle under the leadership of Pastor C.E. Guard. And there is where I get baptized, and I request my baptism should be at the seaside. And then I get baptized and start, follow the ways of the Lord. And then being a student at Winifred Gaskin Memorial Secondary School, we normally used to have debate competition within our houses at the school, like the Silver House versus the Williams House and so on, the One House. And I noticed that Ivor Luke, Mark Light, which is the president of the GTU of Guyana Teachers Union, and also Sunil Mahabi, who is pastor, I think, of 7 churches in the United States of America to bear. So they 3 were the best debating competition students every time they have debate competition. And I always said in my life, I want to be like these 3 guys, the way they were orating the narrative. And I will go home, and when I'm taking care of our plants in our garden, I'm trying to debate the plants, I'm trying to do what they did, most distinguished judges and so on and so forth. And I recognize within myself, it sounds good, it sounds sweet, it sounds great. And then when I get into more closer to Pastor CBA God, I will take my belt and make it a tie and start orating in front of the mirror. And therefore, after a short while of being baptized and under his leadership, he also bring me to leadership level very fast without knowledge, understanding. I was thrown there and give me first Irish was my first location to after Pastor Sunil Mahabir migrated suddenly without any notice to the United States of America. Pastor CBA God showed me and Nigel Beaton to Irish without no knowledge or leadership skill, and I went there and tried the best way I know how. And then I ended up in the Assemblies of God, and the rest is history.
Wow. So what I'm gathering from that is your passion really made you be connected with these names that you're mentioning. So you have this inner passion.
It's the knowing and a passion, the quest to be where there is greatness, and I always go after more.
Yeah, nice. And then there is a who, someone who motivated you, who is your activator of this gift that you have. There's a group of people.
When I came over to the Assemblies of God, as I said, I was already preaching with Pastor CBA Guard and running out station for Pastor CBA Guard in the youngness of my life and understanding leadership. When I came to Assemblies of God, there's a young man by the name of Pastor Gavin Monroe, but he wasn't a pastor then, he was just a regular leader in the church. He befriended me, and when he befriended me, he talked to me about giftings and so on and so forth. And then the protocol of the Assembly is that I was benched, even though I was gifted and talented for 1 year. You know, I was benched as much as gifted and talented I was. They put me on the bench to sit down. And I know if it's an observation or whatever it is, but then I remember Pastor Gavin taking out his wings and wrote for my leadership, and after that the rest is history.
Yeah. So the where is in Bobis then? You would say this originated. Right. But I hear you mention a lot of times about this village called Liverpool. And then I'm now hearing about Fiery. So where would you say your moldings come from?
Well, Liverpool is where I mold and nurtured into understanding manners, understanding respect, and all of those things. Liverpool is where I grew up. I actually was born in Georgetown. I hail from New Amsterdam. The Rodneys are from Lot 21 Winkle Road. And I end up into the adoption of a foster home, even though we are a little bit of family of some nature. That's why I was molded and groomed in Liverpool Village.
Winkle Road, that's a popular name in Guyana, South America. Yeah, nice to hear these names after 30 years of being away from Guyana somewhat, to hear some of the names that we grew up knowing, popular environments, popular places to go. So your what, your who, and your where came out of that. And out of all of that, what I see is people who recognize your potential and help you to live it. And so perhaps later down in the program, you will find maybe that one person or a group of people that you would be able to identify who help you to live your potential. It's a special gene I'm now learning about, HPLP, helping people live their potential. So somewhere along the line, I hope you recognize and tailor it down to perhaps 2 or 3 people who help you to live your potential. You can do that, right? You are listening to an interview with Minister Seon Gregory Gomes Rodney, motivational speaker, minister, chaplain, life coach, entrepreneur, youth cheerleader of the millennials, right here with me, Minister Cleve.
Jesus, we praise your name, we praise your name, we praise your name. I stand amazed in your presence. There is nothing you cannot do. Stand amazed in your presence. There is joy, peace, and hope. There's no one like you, Jesus. There's no one like you in all the earth. There's no one like you, Jesus. There's no one like you. You do mighty things. You do glorious things. You're a faithful God. Awesome is your name. Hey, you do mighty things. You do glorious things. You're a faithful God. Awesome is your name.
Pull up at the Sunday again. Butt cover.
we praise your name, we praise your name, we praise your name. Hey. I stand amazed in your presence. There is nothing you cannot do. Stand amazed in your presence. There is joy, peace, and hope. There's no one like you, Jesus. There's no one like you in all the earth. There's no one like you, Jesus. There's no one like you. You do mighty things. You do glorious things. You're a faithful God. Awesome is your name. Hey, you do mighty things. You do glorious things. You're a faithful God. Awesome is your name. Hey. Stand amazed in your presence. There is nothing you cannot do. Stand amazed in your presence. There is joy, peace, and hope. There's no one like you, Jesus. No one like you in all the earth. No one like you, Jesus. There's no one like you. You do mighty things. You do glorious things. You're a faithful God. Awesome is your name. Hey, you do mighty things. You do glorious things. You're a faithful God. Awesome is your name. That's what we say. You're so mighty, 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 mighty. Faithful, 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 faithful God. Awesome is your name. Well, you're so mighty, 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 mighty. Glorious, 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 glorious God. Worship is your name. Building, you're so mighty, 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 mighty. Faithful, 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 faithful God. Hey, worship is your name. You are mighty, 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 mighty. Faithful, 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 faithful God. So me say, well, Jesus Almighty, created heaven and the earth, you're so faithful. And for us in our might, you're so powerful. There is nothing you cannot do, you're so glorious. There is none like unto you. I look high, I look low. There is none like you. I look left, I look right. There is no one else in sight. Bend from your knees and clap from your hands. To Jesus Christ, let me sing this a song. You're so mighty, 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 mighty.
The voice of the one and only Kester Dean, Ambassador Kester Dean, right here with me on this special edition interview with our motivational speaker, minister, chaplain, life coach, entrepreneur, youth cheerleader of the millenniums, Minister Seon Rodney.
Mighty, mighty, faithful, 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 faithful God. Oh, there is none like unto you. Hey, there is no one else like you. Hey, there is none, there is none. It's another part of studio production, yeah?
So we are talking to Minister Seon Rodney, the CEO of the Facebook program Live on Saturdays called The Conversation. And he's here with me to discuss the portion of the conversation, and we're going to talk about where he's going to take it. What next level is there to come. And so, Minister Seon Rodney, when did you actually start the conversation? And for me, I'm getting so old now, I can't remember the dates, the year, and stuff like that. But I remember me pulling in the corner and trying to find a piece of sheet or plastic to put in my backdrop to get on with you on Facebook. I'm telling you, it was professionally mediocre for me. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. But when did you get it started?
The conversation was started in 2015, and it started in a unique way. I was here in the United States of America. I had knowledge of my foster father's sickness, but was never told the nature of his sickness. So one day I was prompted to really go to visit him and to be a tower of strength in the time of his sickness. And I called a few friends, Pastor Gavin Monroe and my cousin Kester D. And I said, I'm coming to Guyana and I'm coming to visit my father. So Pastor Gavin, who in the initial state of I mentioned in the onset of my nurturing me in leadership, right? Take me on his wings when I came over to the Assemblies of God. He said, man, I'm a pastor now, I have my own church. So you ain't coming to spend time in the dad. I want to put a crusade together. So I said, okay. So we put a crusade together. The crusade was planned for me to from the plane straight to the pulpit and then to see my dad after. But after, upon traveling up with my driver, Tiffany was the driver there, I felt prompted in my spirit to go and see my dad first before I get to the pulpit. When I get to the home and upon seeing my dad is what not I really expect to see. My dad was shrinking profusely. All I could saw is a head there, and the rest of the body cannot be recognized. And I remember I went outside. I was loud beyond. I can call people out in my screaming and so on. And then I gained composure and I went and I lay hand upon him and my dad began to speak immediately.
Let's be the God.
Yeah. So I left, I went to the crusade, and the crusade, the Holy Spirit allowed me to run the crusade in a different way, a crusade I've never seen before. I didn't preach, I talked to the people. I man the crusade myself in custody, and some nights he go before, I go after, I go before, he go after, but I basically talk to the people and I recognize just talking to the people were healing and deliverance were taking place. One lady said she never really walked over or bridge before because every time she touched her bridge, she always get pain and get into her house and so on, and she felt the healing and deliverance, touched nobody. And I basically talk, and I was talking about it's just the way you are. The theme of the meeting was born for more. And at the end of that crusade, I was asked by the school to go and speak to the children. As we finished speaking to the children, I think I have me now to spend an extra day at my hotel in Berbice so that disrupt the agenda for me to be in a training in Georgetown. So when I get to Georgetown, and to meet that mandate, the person that I supposed to meet to talk about the training wasn't there. They went to train GPL employees, which is Guyana Power and Light. So our secretary was there. So the secretary asked me if I want a seat. I take a seat and offer me some water, and we start a conversation. So in the conversation, when I introduced my name, she said, your name, I know your name, I know about you from what was told to me by my boss. So we continue the conversation. She said, what do you do? And I tell her a few things, and she said, now that I'm talking about, what do you do? I said, and I don't understand what you're asking for. She said, you have your phone on you? And she's an Hindu, mind you, Minister Cleve.
Yeah.
Hindu by religion, right? I give her my phone and she said, can I have access to your gallery? And that's never happened to me before, but I said, no problem. And all I know, I open the gallery, I give it to her, and I see she's doing some stuff with her fingers. I don't know what she did. Next thing, she gave back the phone to me, and she said, from today, you are a motivational speaker. She created everything for me in less than 5 minutes and said, you are a motivational speaker. I said, wow. After leaving that office, I called over Kessler to my hotel room. I said, something just happened. And I explained to him, I said, but what is a motivational speaker? I don't know. He said, I am a motivational speaker based on what I do. I'm a motivational speaker. What you're doing, you are a motivational speaker. And I showed him what this young lady gifted me, and she said, anybody asks you what you do, just tell them you're a motivational speaker. So upon arriving in the United States of America, I am in transit in Florida, where I met my sister and my brother-in-law, and I shared a unique thing with them. And they said, Seon, we were following you in those crusades, but we never made a comment. We never share or like, but we are following and we see the uniqueness what God is doing. Would you allow those fire to go out? Would you allow it for another moment? Then you can have the opportunity to share God blessing and stuff with people. This is an opportunity and you should jump at it. I said, okay, and it plays with my mind from thereafter. Then enter into Atlanta, share it with my family. Then therefore share it with my apostle. Well, Pastor Dr. Wedland City was an apostle then, he was pastor. And I share with him, and he said, it's a great initiative, it's a great thing, go after it, but what will be your topic? And I said, I don't know, I'm going to just speak social issues, whatever it is. I cannot itemize at that time what the topic was or what the name was or none of that. Went home, and in the silence of time, God gave me to call it the conversation. And I start off, and the rest is history. God just bring topics, he just bring content as I open, yield myself to him, and the rest is history.
Wow.
If you give a little more than you take, and if you try to fix more than you break, if you're the kind who takes the time to help a stranger in the rain, there's a place for people like you. If you stand up for those down on their knees and lend a voice to those who cannot speak, if you shine a little light, give sight to the ones who've lost their way, there's a place for people like you. I've heard up there the streets are made of gold, and when you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when your days down here are through, there's a place up there for people like you. If you walk around with your heart on your sleeve, and if you're trying to be the change you wanna see, if you lay down your life for love so someone could be saved, there's a place for people like you. I've heard up there the streets are made of gold, and when you get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when your days down here are through, there's a place up there for people like you. get there, there's a hand to hold. I believe when your days down here are through, yeah, there's a place up there for people like you. I know you're out there, so keep doing what you do. 'Cause there's a place up there for people like you. Out of many, one people we are.
Minister Cleve here with Seon Rodney, the conversation. And you were talking to me about where the conversation is leading to, and I want us to get the full gist of where the conversation is going, so people can know how to look out for developments and roads and inroads and more that you have to offer from the conversation. So go right ahead.
The conversation starts with a conversation motivational Saturday. Then we have the conversation freestyle. I said you can let down your hair, you can come on the program with your tattoo, you can come with your whatever it is, be who you are. We discuss different issues on the conversation freestyle. You can discuss politics, you can discuss social issues and different nature. Then we have the conversation shout out to men, where we minister to men. As I said, men are often be misunderstood by those in various form of relationship, and because we are misunderstood and misrepresented, we need the much attention that makes sure we get men to maintain their sanity, integrity, and they can able to still go after their goals and dreams after being beaten down by the world and by each and every one around. And also we have the conversation convoy, which we reach out to one family every month or every year whenever it's possible and affordability, that we can able to reach out to them and to make sure we be a source of our strength in terms of meeting them in the need of care package, or meet with them in the need of financial, whatever it is, once a year. And that's a conversation convoy. And also the feature of the conversation is to make sure we take the world by storm, and we make sure we insulate ourselves in the universe, and we meet the baby boomers, the Gen Xers, the teenagers, and the grown and sexy, the millennials. Leave no stone unturned, because we want to change some narratives, and we want to make sure we destroy the mundane of things that are going on repetitively, that not of upward mobility for people, and understand that a mind that is stretched will not return, and we are stretching minds.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Definitely. When you started, you had a vision, I would think. And as you grow, sometimes your vision might have to be tweaked and changed, and but not reversed. What is your vision? Is it the same as when you started?
The conversation vision is still in keeping from where we started, as I said from the onset. The conversation started with people, which is God's portion, which is God's treasure, and it's still in keeping. And I believe the conversation will not change, the vision will not change, but the vision will just be like give out different rays, if I should say, or different arms as it grow, because the conversation at this point we have now the conversation palm familiars. We have our Tumblr, we have our hats or t-shirts, and we try to generate incomes where we can start employing people along for different purposes and stuff like that. So the conversation would not change, the vision will not change, but the mission towards the vision will increase. And that's what's going on at this juncture of the conversation. But the vision will never change. We keep keeping our mission statement, and that souls will be our portion.
And the souls part is what I'm going to ask about, because there are a couple of occasions during the conversation. During the conversation, I know you stopped and offered prayers for people that would just ask for, initially when you started, that is, people would type in and ask for prayers for particular reasons. And that is so within segments of your conversation that really, captured my attention when you started. Is that something that you continue to do in the conversation?
Yes, it will continue. As I said, soul is our portion. We'll continue to make sure that people write in for the various prayer needs, and we will pray for them and so forth. Some people, they will wait until the program has concluded and then they will request prayers, because some people don't want their name to be on the thread requesting prayers. Someone know that they're going through some kind of situation or circumstances, but we continue to pray for people along the conversation. Believe, because I'm a minister of the gospel, also I'm a chaplain, I'm a life coach, I'm a spiritual activist, and I believe that people going through different times, different situations that they're facing, and the most thing that we know, an answer to situation and solutions to problem only come also from the Almighty God. I am a conduit between heaven and earth, so therefore I believe that I will continue to pray for people who needs prayers.
The purpose is still the reason of the service, moving souls to Christ, expansion, the kingdom, building up the kingdom.
Yes, and as a captain, our mantra is be care, to follow the pain, to bring about the change.
Right, follow the pain long enough. That's right, to bring about the change. And I appreciate what you do in the community. A lot of young folks are connected with you in various non-religious organizations. You want to speak into that?
Yes, a lot of people from different organizations are networking with the conversation. Matter of fact, there's a non-profit organization that network also with the conversation, and there are different small businesses also network with the conversation, and to get it to where it needs to be. There is a business by the name of GFIDI Care Package and Event Planning just donate some care packages to us, and they went and did some donation on behalf of us, including the transportation through for the recipient door, and make sure they take care of them and so forth. There is another organization where the leader just went, and because of what I did for people, you know, they went and take care of my mom without me knowing. They take her to have a pedicure, manicure, a hair day, make sure she went to the city mall, make sure she wore pampered and so forth. And then they said, Seon, this is for what you do. Touch my life in a significant way, not know that you touch me and I touch others. And because of that, in recompense, they reached out to my mom, and they really made her feel special. And for 1 second, she called me and said, you said people to kidnap me. I don't know these people, and they just come and you know, lay hold of me and take me away from my home. But at the end of it, she was well taken care of, well pampered, and that all because of Papa's choice, because of the conversation has reached out to people.
There's a land just off the Atlantic, land of jungles, waterfalls, and sweet scenery, where poor people farm the lands and hunt the waters, and all live in peace and harmony. This is Guyana, beautiful Guyana. This is Guyana, beautiful Guyana. Diamond seekers go in the interior, pulling their creoles under the falls, singing sweet calypso as they heave on their way to dig up the diamond and the gold. Great kite shore tumbling to the river. How I love to see your foaming tide. I listen to the chirps of the cheerful kiskadee as they throw the yellow breast to the sky. Oh, Guyana, land where I was born. Oh, sweet land, shining in the sun. I could hear the monkey chatter up in a tree, and the parrots singing this melody. Oh, Guyana, beautiful Guyana. Oh, Guyana, independent and free. Oh, Guyana, beautiful Guyana.
I am here with Seon Gregory Gomes Rodney, motivational speaker, minister, chaplain, life coach, entrepreneur, youth chair leader of the Millennials, right here, and I am Minister Clave. Welcome back, Minister Seon Gregory Gomes Rodney.
Nice, nice. So you just mentioned Buffer's Choice by default, and you always put forward, advertise other people's business on your program, and you sometimes put Buffer's Choice on the back burner. Tell us about Buffer's Choice and what can offer.
Well, Buffer's Choice is also I'm the CEO of Buffer's Choice Cleaning Company and the other extended arm, the printery. Buffer's Choice was started many years ago by me, myself, and I, and it's birthed while I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and now by extension it's in Linden, a place in Guyana, and there's where the birthing of the printing company in Guyana. So Buffer's Choice is growing, and I want to say that they also make donations to the conversation in acknowledging that the program need to be funded and they need to get out to the masses.
All right. So Buffer's Choice, and besides Buffer's Choice, there's some other organizations or other businesses that connected to the conversation. I'll give you a chance to speak about them briefly.
Yes, so I'm glad that other companies, organizations, and businesses are on board. And I want to say it's not a big significant donation or what have you, but the little that they have seen to be a part of the conversation, I want to thank them very much, to the management and the staff, and to many other pastors and many other nonprofit organizations. And by extension also, I worship at Sanctuary's Presence Kingdom Ministry, and they have extended to me the grace and the support for the conversation over the number of years. Yes, so I want to thank my apostle and the leadership of Sanctuary's Presence.
Everyone remember the post over there at Sanctuary's Presence Kingdom Ministry, located at 559 Capitol Woods Drive in the state of Georgia. To the apostle, Dr. Redden Seeley and Dr. Virginia Seeley over there. SOHPKM in the state of Venezuela. And you were a lead over there, definitely touching lives, connecting people to people, being a good resource for even with the Guyanese diaspora. So let me know about how your influence is impactful in the Guyanese diaspora outside of the conversation.
We're back with Seon Rodney on the conversation. Motivational speaker, minister, chaplain, life coach, entrepreneur, youth chair leader of the millennials. Welcome back on this side of the conversation.
Well, outside of the conversation, the Guyanese diaspora, I'm resourceful, and the impact I'm making. Because if you notice, the one of the handle that I have and I carried, the spiritual activist, is that many people have reached out to me to be their voice sometimes in representation where they lack representation from the place it's sought after, and they're asking me for solutions. I think I can bring some solutions to the problem they're facing. I can help them to have assurance that they're going to be a better day and a brighter day. And I'm very much impactful and resourceful for those in the Guyanese diaspora. Because of my love for country and my love for my citizenry of Guyana, even though I'm in the diaspora, not in physically boots on the ground in Guyana, I've joined myself into different other organizations behind the scene to have small representation for Guyana, meaning I'm a part of the Black Lives Matter. I'm a part of the Congressional Caucus, Black Caucus. I enlist myself there and be a part of those organizations to make sure I can have questions and so forth to meet the Guyana's people at the point of their need. They're not being on the forefront and spotlight because, some organizations, if you're spotlighted, you can be marked this week.
Family need a friend. He will change your life. Hey, yeah, you need a friend. He will change your life. You need a friend. He will change your life. Hey, yeah, you need a friend. He will change your life. He's like 1 in a million. There's a question. He's the real one. Only true solution. Confusion, complication. be friend till the end. No false pretense. He'll be a light through the darkest hour. He's that true friend like no other. He will change your life. Hey, yeah, you need a friend. He will change your life. You need a friend. He will change your life. Hey, yeah, you need a friend. He will change your life. You need a friend. He will change your life. Hey, yeah, you need a friend. He will change your life. You need a friend. He will change your life. Hey, yeah, you need a friend. He will change your life.
Let us proceed with the first song.
So if someone is listening to you from, a local community or Guyana or, from overseas, then they hear you in the conversation and they want to do something to enhance the conversation. What would be the first thing you would tell the person that you would love to have to advance the conversation so they can touch lives beyond Facebook?
Well, the advanced conversation beyond Facebook is that I can ask them if they can have me and my platform and my leadership of the conversation, if they can have us be involved in a satellite location, and if they can help us in terms to be a part of a radio channel. I would love for that to be a part of accelerating the message of the conversation. I would love for that opportunity and that opening to make a segue into wherever they are, that they can present to us either satellite location and also affordability to be on the radio, that our message can get out. And our message is a potent one. It's not of color, creed, it's not of gender-based or any kind of stuff. Our message is broad-based with inclusion of each and every one. We believe in the total man of understanding. You are gifted, you are talented, understand that life is worth living for and life has meaning, and therefore you have what it takes to enjoy the measure of time that allotted to each and every one of us on this earth by Almighty God. So therefore, I will receive any opening for a satellite location or for the ability to be on any radio broadcasting medium in wherever they are. And they can reach out to myself and my team, and we can make our segue into those affordability.
And I don't think that's asking much. Tell us where we can find you to make this connection. I know there's a sign behind you that says the conversation on Saturday, but you tell us how folks can get in touch with you on your program and to discuss opportunities that will help you live out your potential.
Good. The conversation is aired every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. in the evening, and at 8 p.m. Atlanta, Georgia, United States Eastern Standard Time. And on Sunday, we have a short stint with not no set time, depending because of church, because of non-profit organization meetings on Sundays, some Sundays. So the stint of time change because sometimes of the various non-profit organizations which are many I'm a part of, and we have our Zoom meeting, we have our executive meetings and so forth, but we still come on even for a short time to make sure we encourage and challenge the people for the week. But the conversation is ordered on Saturday 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. at the set time. And also you can reach out to me at 678-770-0430. You can email me at seonrodney23@gmail.com. Once again, seonrodney23@gmail.com. And my telephone number is 678-770-0430.
You heard it. directly from the CEO of the conversation, Minister Seon Rodney, right here. Reach out to him. If you have such a platform, consider the conversation to be aired on your platform so that we can touch lives globally. Minister Seon Rodney, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you can tell us before we make our segue?
Well, I just wanna to say that thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for affording me to be on your great platform. Thank you for your management and staff and for the people that surround your august body that you have and are part of. And thank you for the allowing to know that you are resourceful and you can reach out to touch resourceful people. And together we will, together we can, together we're going to bring it home. And just to installate at this juncture that our mantra, our culture, and our brand at the conversation is value. So we value this moment on behalf of my supporters and friends and team of this conversation. We value this moment and we value you for asking me at this time to be a representation of the masses of the conversation.
I would say to you, you are a big deal. So definitely be encouraged and continue to be that light, that beacon, and that all generations will come to know Christ through what you do in the conversation and what you do as a minister, what you do as a chaplain. Thank you so much for your reasonable service, I would say, to God's creation, to humanity, to your local community, and to the community in which you grew up in Guyana, South America. Any shout outs, you can go right ahead and make a shout out right here, right now.
Well, I just want to shout out to Pastor CBA Guard, and when he's passed and gone to be with the Lord. Shout out to him. Shout out to all my everyone that touched my life in a significant way. I don't want to call names because I will get myself in trouble in missing some people, and they probably feel like their name should be spotlighted or highlighted. But I want to shout out to everyone that touched my life in a great way, in a big way, in a significant way, who has helped me to be where I am. I couldn't have been here by myself, and I have a far way to go. And for all that need nurtured and shaped and fashioned my ministry from the onset to now and to where I'm going, I want to shout out to each and every one, past and present, and those who will come into my orbit in the future. I want to thank each and every one of you for those who are praying, those who are interceding, those who are presenting study material, those who are calling and encouragement, and those who help me. We chop up the scripture, we chop up the theme, we chop up the subject matter. I want to thank each and everyone in big way or small way that reach out to me with your coin donation, and in every way I want to thank you very much. And those who donate the equipment for the studio, I want to thank each and everyone, and those are continue to do the great things through the conversation.
Yeah, you got it. The gene that some of us don't recognize we have, helping people live their potential, the HPLPG. It's found in people like Oprah Winfrey, people like Tyler Perry, and those are big names. But sometimes the small people, supposedly the small people, are not recognized for what they're doing in this part of the vineyard. Be encouraged. Besides the conversation, your whole life is about helping others, and you're resourceful, and you use your gifts and your talents to mobilize people and motivate. And may God continue to bless you, your ministry, and give you that spirit of boldness to get on out there and win souls, save lives, transform lives, and add to his kingdom. God bless you and your family. Take care.
Thank you, and God bless you and your audience and your family and your endeavor, and you will have a great trajectory. God bless you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
We've been talking to Seon Rodney on the conversation. He's a motivational speaker, minister, chaplain, life coach, entrepreneur, youth cheerleader of the millennials, and some other things that I know he does. But definitely was a pleasure having you here on the program, and it's so sad that I had to let you go so soon. I hope you come back and be with me right here as we discuss matters that pertains to community, pertains to growth. Because every believer is given a spiritual gift or gifts by the Holy Spirit for the education of the church and as a means of growth. And so I think you're a champion. So this one is specially dedicated to you and all the staff, all the folks who follow the conversation. For you are going together far. For alone, you can go fast. But if you go together, you can definitely go very, 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 very far. So thank you for coming on with me right here. It's Minister Cleve as I take my leave from you with this song. All my champions, line up.
Woyo, woyo, woyo. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me. Tell the enemy I'm gonna walk like a champion, talk like a champion, cause I am a winner. I'm gonna praise like a champion, wave like a champion, I'm a true believer. I'm gonna walk like a champion, talk like a champion, cause I am a winner. I'm gonna praise like a champion, wave like a champion, I'm a true believer.
Pull up at the Sunday again, butt cover.
Ain't nobody stopping me. Ain't nobody stopping me. Tell the enemy I'm gonna walk like a champion, talk like a champion, cause I am a winner. I'm gonna praise like a champion, wave like a champion, I'm a true believer. I'm gonna walk like a champion, talk like a champion, cause I am a winner. I'm gonna praise like a champion, wave like a champion, I'm a true believer. Like Moses, I'm on my way to the promised land. Whoa, like Joseph, I'll be the next one in command. Yeah, like David, I'll be the people's champion. Whoa, like Daniel, I'm sitting in the lion's den. Yeah, and I am unshakable, unstoppable, unmovable. They can't touch me now, they can't break me now. Yes, I am unbreakable, unstoppable, unmovable. Yes, I have no doubt that my Father will work it out. So I will walk like a champion, talk like a champion, cause I am a winner. I'm gonna praise like a champion, wave like a champion, I'm a true believer. I'm gonna walk like a champion, talk like a champion, cause I am a winner. I'm gonna praise like a champion, wave like a champion, I'm a true believer. Walk like a champion, talk like a champion, praise like a champion, wave like a champion. Destiny is calling me to fulfill what you said I would be. Remember Jonah and the whale, with you at my side I will not fail. I've been accused and misused, but the stone that they build have refused shall be the head cornerstone, so I will not fail. Because I'm unshakable, unstoppable, unmovable. They can't touch me now, they can't break me now. Yes, I am unbreakable, unstoppable, unmovable. Yes, I have no doubt that my Father will work it out. So I will walk like a champion, talk like a champion, cause I am a winner. I'm gonna praise like a champion, wave like a champion, I'm a true believer. I'm gonna walk like a champion, talk like a champion, cause I am a winner. I'm gonna praise like a champion, wave like a champion, I'm a true believer. I will walk like a champion, talk like a champion, cause I am a winner. I'm gonna praise like a champion, wave like a champion, I'm a true believer. I'm gonna walk like a champion, talk like a champion, cause I am a winner. I'm gonna praise like a champion, wave like a champion, I'm a true believer. Walk like a champion, talk like a champion, praise like a champion, wave like a champion, praising like a champion, waving like a champion, praising like a champion.